OG says Snoop still makes gangster rap and raps his game. Yeah, he does. He's a little bit more low key with it now, right? Well, I guess he's a crip for life. I know. So that's how you do it. Yes, I would have a problem with that movie. I used to tell my my daughter, all the time these musicians aren't singing to you. There you go. Right? Some of that is adult stuff. Okay?
Mi nombre es Samuel Guzmán con la CLC. Y juntamente con mi colega Jasmine estaremos interpretando la reunión de hoy en español. Si se une con nosotros virtualmente a través de Zoom, por favor busque en su pantalla un icono interactivo de globo que dice interpretación. Oprima ese botón y de ahí seleccione la opción de escuchar en español. Si se une con nosotros presencialmente y está ahorita presente en la cámara, por favor busque hacia el fondo, hacia la derecha, y encontrará un asistente que le podrá dar audífonos para escuchar en español. Muchas gracias and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sam. City Council provides a half-hour public comment session. We hear from the public on city matters, except for any matter that are scheduled for a public hearing. To maximize time for public comment, council will not offer comments or responses from the dais. Council members or staff may contact speakers following their comment if they raise matters that lend themselves to follow-up. All speakers should begin by stating their names. Each person will have 3 minutes to speak. For those participating in person when called upon, please come to the podium. A timer on the presentation monitor will display your remaining time. For those participating virtually when called upon, please wait until you are promoted to speaker. Then accept the promotion, turn on your camera if you have one, and your microphone. You will see the timer on your screen counting down. Please refrain from profane or obscene speech, direct your comments to council as a whole, and refrain from individual and personal attacks, including disparaging other speakers' motives. We are currently experiencing an unfortunate technical difficulty, and the timer may not be visible on the presentation monitor in person, nor on the screen for those participating virtually. If the timer does not appear on the monitor, I will provide in-person speakers with a 30-second warning by raising my hand. For those participating virtually, if the timer does not appear on the screen, I will say 30 seconds. Thank you for your patience. First up, we have, let me go to my, Bradley Abeda.
Just ran over here.
Oh, great.
Good evening, council members, neighbors, and friends. My name is Bradley, and I work as a crossing guard and a special education paraprofessional over at Polaris Elementary in Five Points. First, I wanted to thank a couple staffs here. Councilman Hines has been a big traffic champion. I live in his district, so we have a lot of good combos. Councilman Watson and his office have been super supportive about the process over at Polaris, helping us to get some traffic improvements, traffic safety improvements. So I wanted to thank Councilman Watson and his staff as well, along with the Polaris PTO, our school staff, DPS Climate and Safety, DPD, and DOTI. This has been a huge project for about 2 blocks worth of improvements. Let's see. So I've been a crossing guard at Polaris since last fall. In that time, I've witnessed countless drivers speeding through the school zone, running the red light, with people present at the crosswalk, blocking the crosswalk entirely, and using their cars to threaten and harass pedestrians, including rolling coal on school kids, throwing objects at them, cursing at them, etc. It's just not a super fun area to work. It's not a great environment for kids to learn and thrive in. Due to the hard work of countless people in our community over the last 5 years, we've been fortunate to receive some traffic improvements to start this school year. On Tremont Avenue, the left turn lanes have been removed and replaced with a hardened median. A diverter has been installed at the end of the block, helping to reroute cut-through traffic. So that's going down other streets instead of routing reckless drivers directly to and adjacent to Polaris. While these improvements came in last week, we've already noticed a remarkable change this school year. Traffic speeds and congestion on Park have decreased significantly. This is despite zero changes being made to park itself. So we're just helping ease some of the congestion down the side streets here. Last year, we only had 2 kids who consistently rode bikes to school. This year, we've seen dozens. We have parents walking their kids to school. And this is 2 streets worth of, that have been installed, 2 streets worth of bike lanes. And our entire fabric community feels different this year. We feel more connected and we feel safer. We now have an environment where staff and students are coming in ready to learn instead of thinking about how they're going to survive. So without that additional stress, we have seen huge benefits this school year so far. I'm here tonight because I want to ask council to prioritize the safety of our streets, especially around schools. Crossing guards watch the intersections 10 hours a week, improve the reporting process so we're not reliant on 311. I want to be able to have us install temporary measures and then have Dottie adopt those permanently when they work. I realize that my time is done, so I yield. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for being here. Next up, we have Lisa Gobel.
Oh, that's Lisa from the harm reduction.
Hey, babes. My name is Lisa Rayville. I'm the Executive Director of the Harm Reduction Action Center, Colorado's largest public health agency that works specifically with people who inject drugs and people who smoke drugs such as crack, meth, and fentanyl. We continue to be in the worst overdose crisis we've ever been in with the most unregulated drug supply we've ever seen. As you know, Denver has experienced an increase in overdose deaths just this year, publicly since March. The grief on the front lines daily is overwhelming. 351 folks have died already this year in Denver, 483 last year, 598 the year before that, 472, 370, 225. And remember, it doesn't have to be like this. Overdose continues to be the leading cause of death of our unhoused neighbors in Denver and has been for the past 7 years. If it was heart attack, stroke, or seizures, he'd have the American Red Cross in here. Grief is all I have left of you, so yes, I do hold on to it. Thank you to Denver Health and the sponsorship of another proclamation for Overdose Awareness Day. This day offers a moment of grief, rage, reflection, and action. This day sends a strong message to current and former people who use drugs that you are valued. And I think we can now all agree that people are aware. So what are we going to do about it?
You heard that, Max?
We're going to call this day what it is to us, Overdose Grief Day. Friends we know, love, and serve are dying in this overdose crisis and dying publicly. Outside, in alleys, in parks, in business bathrooms, across the street, and parks just around the corner. The Harm Reduction Action Center has been a collaborative partner of the City of Denver for 23 years, and yet lately we haven't been treated as such. We know that you will never treatment or incarcerate your way out of an unregulated drug supply. You just simply won't. For 51 years, the United States has prioritized stigma, shame, incarceration, just say no and dare. And all that's done is bring us here to the worst overdose crisis we've ever been in with the most unregulated drug supply we've ever seen. Arresting people for public drug use and either forcing treatment or incarceration is not evidence-based. It's been tried for years and years with the overdose deaths to prove it. We know that law enforcement can't arrest their way out of drug use, or they simply would have already done so. For 7 years right here in Denver, we have tried to push forward with an intervention that would reduce public drug use, reduce public overdose deaths, and increase public safety. And at every turn, they try the old lather, rinse, and repeat of doubling down on the worst ideas of the drug war, which are incarceration and criminalization. I'm just a frontline direct service provider, dedicating the last 16 years of my career right here in Denver to people who use drugs and those that are unhoused. Standing before you today, asking for your support to try every evidence-based tool in the toolkit. People are dying, they're dying publicly. It does not have to be like this. We can do better. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Betsy Kraft. Betsy Kraft. Next up, we have Leslie James, virtually. Leslie?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Leslie James. I live at the edge of City Park West and Whittier, and my children go to school in 5 Points. I wanted to call out a recent investment in our built environment that has made a huge improvement for the safety of my children and other children at Polaris Elementary. Like Bradley Abeda mentioned, our traffic, our crossing guard, it's the traffic diverter at 22nd and Tremont. Prior to the diverter's implementation, Polaris
They haven't promoted me yet. No, baby, but we signed up.
Yes, good afternoon. Can I be heard? All right, thank you. Good afternoon, City Council, people watching home different. Um, I want to talk about the, the, the City Council, well, I want to say that the mayor is a villain and the devil, and y'all work for him. So you're complicit in all the bad things that happen amongst the city. All these poor choices you're making, it's a reflection. And that if when all these things that go up on the ballot, and you want us to vote for them, the people are gonna have their way, and none of this stuff is gonna pass. Just because you're complicit in not caring for the one thing that you're responsible for, the one thing we put you in charge for, that we voted for you to represent our best interests, the interests of the people. Now, I say that for a whole bunch of various reasons, but you just laid off like a lot of you, including one of your husbands, and this is terrible. But we're watching, and the fact is that certain people have not don't have to do all that. Like, for example, the clerk and recorder office. Yes, he's appointed. Yes.
He's elected.
But his budget is ridiculous. The things he's asking for, ridiculous. Like, what have you been doing this whole time with these voting machines? Why do you need all this extra stuff? Why is this budget so high? These are things that really need to be looked into and like majorly audited. Also, if you listen to the governor is like, we had a balanced budget. But if you listen to the mayor's budget is never in balance. And there's something right there that is like a critical piece. It makes no sense. The fact that all these people have got fired, laid off, you know what happens after that? Okay. Homelessness. Yeah. I've been saying that for a while. Everybody's one check away from being homeless. And now look how many people you got out on the street. You're about to have another 174 people, let's play households out on the street. Yeah, that's crazy work. So I just think that, we got to really look at things like that. And you let the devil play, control. And y'all are complicit in being harassed like and terrorized by these contracts that you got coming, or that you went through, or had to go through, or had to approve, because it's this or else the people are going to suffer. Approve this or else the people will suffer. Yeah.
They haven't promoted me to panelist. See, they're playing games. Okay. Yes.
Recording in progress.
Yes, good evening, members of council. I have to wait to get promoted. My apologies. My name is Jessica LaShawn Pearson. I'm representing for Black Star Action Movement for Self-Defense, Positive Action Committee for Social Change, as well as the Unity Party of Colorado, the Northeast Denver Residents Council, Frontline Black News, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, the Revolutionary Agenda, the Quebec Corridor Task Force, the Reimagining Police and Public Safety Task Force. I could be here all night naming everything I'm a part of, but I reside at the Legacy Lofts here in Councilman Darrell Watson's district of Defined District 9, otherwise known as the East Side. I agree with everything the previous speakers have said, especially Ms. Majors, my lady, my spouse, my wife. You are complicit in all of this, Denver City Council, and you only have yourselves to blame, Denver. This is what y'all voted for in 2023. You didn't want me, and you didn't want the slew of others. You wanted the rich white boy from Aspen. That didn't resonate with nothing that was going on in the city. And like Lady Che has stated, you have brought this on yourself. You decided to put illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, above your average citizenry, especially your Black citizenry, your foundational Black American citizenry. You forgot all about us. So now you only have yourselves to blame for the layoffs, for the price of everything, how the rent has just skyrocketed through the roof, how you have all these abandoned buildings that are still sitting vacant, these luxury apartments. It was 26,000 back in 2018. Oh, Lisa from the harm reduction. Unhoused neighbors, that's my term. I coined that back in 2016 when I was with Denver Homeless Out Loud. And I said they're unhoused, but they're still part of our community. So think about that every time you say unhoused anything, because I was the poster child for unhoused neighborness, especially for Black people out here in Denver. I ran a whole ballot initiative to overturn the urban camping ban, which is still in effect to this day. And y'all said that we can do better. Well, you're not doing better, Denver. You're doing worse. Every time I step outside my door, I see nothing but drug use. So how are you doing better? I still see people unhoused on the streets. I still see them in encampments. They just not like they was. And the reason why your plan is failing, Johnston, because you stole it from me and Lady Che, for the record. So that's why his plan is failing. His vibrant Denver is adult, and straight up theft. But that's what y'all used to doing, stealing our intellectual property.
Thank you, Jesse. Next up, we have Shane Whitstruck virtually.
Yes.
In the recording is progress.
And Advocacy Network. Thanks for letting me speak again. I appreciate your patience and your welcome ears. I just want to let you all know that last week at the Tabor Center, where Palantir is headquartered in Denver, there were 3 protests. 3 protests in 1 week. I hope that you all can listen to what Denverites are saying, because that is not nothing. After one of the protests, they marched for 5 miles through the streets of Denver. This is serious. Your fight against Flock is our same fight. We have the same values. We want the city to be a free place to live, free of surveillance and AI overreach, and then free of investments in genocidal wars across the world. Right now in the state capitol, they're doing a special session where they're considering deregulating AI, moving back legislation that we had passed beforehand and deregulating it further with House Bill 1008. I encourage you all to talk to your state legislators, talk to your coworkers and peers, and tell them to vote no on this very harmful bill. And please tell them to vote yes on Senate Bill 4, the AI Sunshine Act, which is very much needed. Because Denver needs to take a lead in this fight against AI overreach. It's clear with what's going on in the Capitol and in the federal government that we cannot rely on the state or federal government to protect us. And I know that the majority of you are on our side when it comes to AI overreach, so I hope that you can take action on this very complicated issue. I also want to speak on Jeanette Vizquera, a political prisoner who's been in the Aurora ICE Detention Center for 5 months now. ICE uses Palantir's AI technology to not only track and target immigrants, but to track and target Palestinians across the world. It's happening right here in our city. Jeanette Vizquera has been left to rot in the Aurora Detention Center, and it's all of our faults. We all failed her. So please stop investing in nonsense Israeli bonds that do not represent the interests of Denverites. Denverites do not want our tax dollars funding genocide across the world. We want our tax dollars to support city workers' jobs, harm reduction, welfare programs, safe streets,
How about that genocide?
defunded police, and more. So please stop this nonsense. Thank you.
How about our genocide?
Next up, we
How about our genocide?
have
Nobody claps her about that.
Ross.
Huh.
Just a phone something.
We dropped her phone.
Thank you for butchering my name on my birthday. So thank you.
Yeah, I've been working on it.
So addiction isn't that different from
Oh, it's our boy. She gave us some
or COVID
compound
and
slaughter.
novel virus,
That's
because
not
when
even
it strikes indiscriminately. Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor or in between. Just ask Hunter Biden or Heath Ledger.
Whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, words matter
The
greatly,
original Joker.
but if they're not followed by actions, they're just empty rhetoric. I've been coming here since April talking about the Mile High Homeless Initiative and its failures. And you either don't believe me
Stellar. Mac
or you don't care.
fired up.
So if you don't believe me, I urge you to go unannounced to those sites where I continue to see people at the Roads of Recovery
As I like to call it.
motels die every month, overdosing.
The
They smoke fentanyl with doors open. They don't get help.
No, they just sit vacant.
Not from your partner, not
Oh, get him.
from Roads of Recovery, incompetent staff,
Oh,
and it's just or Reciprocity Collective. 3 folks. I just saw you gave him. I've been with him for a year. I still don't have a therapist. I still don't have a psychiatrist, and I've been begging them. And then they say, "Oh, when you complained, even to higher level folks, they say, well, these programs didn't exist before this mayor." Well, if they're not working, they're failing. You have the manpower, you have the leadership, you have the money, and you're still failing. So excuses, excuses, excuses. And it is time, because this council is supposed to be the checks and balances, the executive branch. This mayor's only blind by ambition. He just wants to rise in his political. He doesn't care.
no.
You cannot tackle homelessness, addiction, and mental illness with a 5-year vision program.
Yeah, the public is heated
It should
with
be a
him.
long-term 20.
Sicko, man.
You will see results
He said
within
he
3
was
to
going to get
5.
locked up for the illegals.
Any policy plan to end homelessness within 5 years is a joke.
You would have got a lawyer.
Right. He had to get
So there is
$7 million off of our
majority out there
taxpaying dollars.
that are not happy
to fund
with
this
how
legal
this money's funneling and no results. They matter, and it should start with a culture of care.
After the
It really
Republicans
does. I've seen
had them on
people
trial.
transform.
Yeah, they should.
1% out of 1%, but
Yeah.
when you see
He
it, it
definitely needs to
happens.
go. He's a damn
Those
lobbyist.
programs, this money is
He
not
needs to
going
go.
to what it's supposed to do.
evidence-based if you're not implementing it with fidelity and rigidity in
I'm
these
gonna
methods.
watch Elon waste more
So
money and
the
launch.
NGO partners, I think this partnership needs to end. They used
They
to.
said web started.
Very much. That's your time. Thank you. That concludes our
That's what
general
I
public
said, but
comment
they said it was
session.
web.
If we did not get to you today, please join us next week or submit your comments in writing. The next session will be held on Monday, September 8th. Sign up begins at 5 p.m. on Thursday, September 4th.
Yeah.
We look forward to hearing from you again.
Yeah,
And
whatever,
thank you for
Amanda.
attending.
What the fuck ever.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah. There's 2 black people in there.
the last mayoral.
Well, there's 4 black people total with the council.
The last mayoral address, he didn't even mention the historical to black people.
We're gonna promote soccer, swimming, biking, and dancing. White people dancing and doing yoga.
The hot light numbers coming out anytime soon.
It's a sunny day with the dog. Got 6 minutes. I gotta run upstairs. Lady Che gonna hold it down. Y'all gotta run upstairs.
It's gonna go to something like loud.
It's on this.
Yeah, I thought it was over.
No, they still got the public hearing.
Why are we here?
That's the public hearing.
Why are we on a commercial?
Because they went on recess. That's how everybody spoke. There was only like 8 people that signed up to speak.
See how many people really cared about?
Yeah, because that motherfucker was packed for months. Yeah, it's a hot mic moment.
I wonder how Gilmore feels
She's probably crying her eyes out.
after I did that.
Yeah, she's definitely crying her eyes out. You should have brought the reactor up. Thank you for not putting the reactor in Mom Bello. No Screen Valley Ranch, but
I would have said that and then say, then your husband gets laid off. I mean, I think that's pretty bad.
yeah, the husband getting laid off is bad enough.
I didn't do it on purpose, y'all. I didn't do it to be evil. I did it to create the point.
Yeah,
Like, even though the husband's black, I did it to make a point.
yeah.
Because I've been saying everybody's like one paycheck. Sorry about the voice. It kind of sounds like it's real hard. Sorry about that, family. I think I get a cold or getting sick. I get sick very easily. I think I got something. I got like a little virus or a little cold on the bus. I take the bus a lot. I think that's what happened. So sorry about the voice. But it's kind of quiet, so I can speak a little bit. I didn't really do it to be evil to the bride. She's the one that was talking about Stacey Gilmore, the city council lady. I wasn't doing it to be mean. I did it to a point. Oh, it was it to a point that that's fucking evil. Like, you know, the city council lady that works for you as the mayor, and you're the one that does this, and you're the one, you gonna lay off her husband?
Yeah, no black people shown, man.
You're gonna lay off her husband, who is a black person, right? He's black, like kind of light skinned, but he's black.
Yeah, he's black and knees.
Yeah, so regardless, he's black though, right?
Yeah, one of his parents is black.
All right, yeah, okay, so he's light
I don't know
skinned.
if they FBA the jury.
Yeah, but he's light skinned, like Redbone, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. The kind
He
of
has a
punchy.
little fro.
Yeah, do the water contracts and some shit.
He used to do the parks. It's the park.
Oh God, help me.
Yeah.
I got it. So I did it because, when the mayor laid off, you got to lay off all
There's 2 black people left. So you get 2 black people and the 2 on the council.
Yeah, I don't think they are all off. Like, Trump made a terrific statement and people got cuts. But he has to lay off them. Only to find out that we had 600 regular positions open. So what the fuck is he doing? And a lot of vacant positions are weird. Like he cut 60 law officers. 60. That is a lot. Why you cut the police like that? They cut a lot of things. And also it's funny make his budget work or the lack thereof. But in reality, if you want to take care of
Oh, it must be time. It got super quiet in
all
here.
this other shit,
All
then
right.
we wouldn't have these problems. But the other thing is too, they want to approve all
Council will now reconvene from our earlier session. There is no unfinished business. There are 2 proclamations this evening. Councilmember Lewis, will you please read Proclamation 1245?
I know what
Yes, Council President. Proclamation number 251245, honoring the celebration of Ascenda in Colorado. Whereas the City and County of Denver has a long history of partnership with Denver Accent Sister Cities and the Tigray community of Colorado to host the annual festival Ascenda in honor of Black womanhood, sisterhood, femininity, joy, and freedom. And whereas Ascenda is a holiday celebrated around the world by Tigrayans of religions through freedom of expression in fashion, dance, song, drumming, spoken word, art, and more. And whereas Ascenda is a celebration to uplift and empower women and girls in Tigray and the Tigrayan diaspora. And whereas Ascenda recognizes the contributions of women and girls as pillars of strength and joy in their communities. And whereas the City and County of Denver recognizes and values Indigenous peoples' cultural traditions, especially those centered around women and girls. And whereas Ascenda is celebrated at the City of Axon Park in Denver, introducing the local community to the strength and beauty of the people of Tigray. And whereas Ascenda passes down the customs and traditions of the Tigrayan people from the elders to girls and young women through stories, song, and dance. And whereas Ascenda is a family-centered celebration emphasizing the importance of Tigrayan family values and traditions. Therefore, be it proclaimed by the Denver City Council. Section 1, the Denver City Council recognizes the Colorado Tigray community for incredible contributions to our city, commitment to each other, and efforts to build stronger global connections. Section 2, the Denver City Council celebrates the historic partnership with Denver Accent Sister Cities for their efforts building bridges across borders, celebrating cultures, and fostering international collaboration between sister cities. Section 3, that the clerk of the City and County of Denver shall affix the seal of the City and County of Denver to this proclamation, and that a copy be transmitted to Malete, President of Tigray Community of Colorado.
Thank you, Councilmember. Your motion to adopt?
I move that proclamation number 251245 be adopted.
It has been moved and seconded. Comments by members of council. Councilmember Lewis.
Thank you so much. I always have such a deep appreciation for the opportunity and the honor to be able to move this proclamation forward every year. One thing that sits with me, Maleti, is that you said the first time I did this proclamation that I was able to bring you all from the shadows, and that you have been doing incredible work, and now folks have the opportunity to see the work that you are doing. I am absolutely honored to be able to celebrate with you all and to participate in the traditions and the culture and the love and the joy and the sisterhood that you all provide each and every year. And I am absolutely overjoyed and honored to have the opportunity to have this special event in District 8, exactly where it belongs, when we talk about joy and femininity. And so thank you all for the work that you do. Thank you for the love that you pour into community. Thank you for the protection that you continue to provide for our communities, whether those are children in America or children across the world, because it matters, especially in a time as of now when we are seeing such harm and sadness and genocide and all of the things, that you all remain and continue to be true in your values and your love and your protection and your womanhood and your sisterhood. And that means a great deal to me, being able to sit here at this dais and to know that I stand as one, but I stand as 10,000 because of folks like you in our community. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Lewis. Councilmember Parody.
It's like everybody but your own people.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Councilmember Lewis for bringing this proclamation, and thank you all for being here. I have been really grateful and honored to learn more about the Caribbean community here through Lila Tabor Mescal and the Whittier Cafe, which is my neighborhood spot. And I got into a cab home from DIA the other day and saw the driver listening to Chuck Ray radio and was able to talk to him about that knowledgeably. So I just appreciate that. It means a lot to me to know people who are joining our demonstration here, and you all get that message out so powerfully. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary, roll call. Councilmembers Sawyer.
Aye.
Albuquerque.
Aye.
Flynn. Gilmore. Hines.
Aye.
Cashman. Lewis.
Aye.
Parody.
Aye.
Romero Campbell.
Aye.
Torres.
Aye.
Watson.
Aye.
Madam President Sandoval. Aye. Madam Secretary, close the voting and announce the results. 11 ayes. 11 ayes. Proclamation 1245 has been adopted. We now have time for the proclamation acceptance. Councilmember Lewis, who would you like to invite up to accept the proclamation?
Thank you. I would like to call out Malete, the Executive Director of TCC, and Axum, the Assistant Director of TCC, as well as any members of the Tigrayan community that you all are welcome. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. As you know, the Tigray community of Colorado is a 32-year-old institution at this point in the city. We've been here for a really long time. When my family first came here, there were less than 5 Ethiopian families. So imagine that, to now being one of the largest communities in the diaspora, and of that community, more than half are Tigrayans. So we thank you for this recognition. Ashenda really is Black Girl Magic times 1,000, and we have a lot of fun, and there's a lot of joy, and it's about sisterhood and womanhood and girls empowerment. And we have a week-long festival this year, and we hope you'll join us. We kicked it off with a 5K the other day, and we have a number of events throughout the week. But on Monday, Labor Day, we have an event at Axum Park where it's a family event where there's live music and food and fashion and women-owned businesses, the whole nine. So please come and celebrate with us. We're there from 2 to 8 p.m. It really is a lot of fun. And you're right. I always said we were a community hidden in plain sight, and you brought us out of the shadows. So I appreciate you for that, especially right now at a time where it is a difficult time for immigrants. And so we just appreciate this opportunity and for your recognition and celebrating our contribution to the city that we dearly, dearly love. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's the only Black people there. Ain't that a bitch?
Councilmember Watson, will you please read Proclamation 1242?
Yeah, he really is.
Thank you, Council President. Proclamation number 251242. From imagining a great city to creating it. Honoring the Honorable Mayor Federico Peña.
What was so honorable about that?
Whereas on July 1st, 1983, Colorado Supreme Court Justice Joseph Quinn swore in Federico Peña as Denver's 41st mayor, and who then confronted pressing challenges with determination and optimism, declaring, "We know we can imagine a great city, and now we must create it."
That's the last
time. And whereas it is both timely and initiative to recognize the transformative leadership of Mayor Federico Pena and the Pena administration, whose vision and accomplishments continue to guide and inspire the work of today's city administration and the people of Denver. And whereas we recognize and honor the courage of Mayor Pena, bold and historic actions, transforming Denver with strategic economic and infrastructure investments, led by a dynamic team that included women, African Americans, Latinos, LGBTQIA plus individuals, labor representatives, environmental and neighborhood advocates, and people with disabilities. And whereas, within months of taking office, Mayor Pena established the Denver Baseball Commission, rallied regional support from Major League Baseball, hosted exhibition games, convinced Commissioner Peter Ueberroth of Denver's baseball readiness, supported legislation to create a regional stadium taxing district, campaigned for its passage, and served on the site selection committee that chose Lower Downtown or LODO for Coors Field, all culminating in Colorado being awarded a Major League Baseball franchise in July of 1991. And we don't blame them for how the Rockies are playing today. And whereas Mayor Pena championed landmark civic projects, including construction of the Colorado Convention Center to replace the outdated Corrigan Hall, as well as the new downtown Denver Public Library. And whereas he envisioned and led the redevelopment of the Central Platte Valley, transforming 600 acres of abandoned land along the Platte River by reconstructing viaducts, building infrastructure, creating new parks and open space, attracting new development, beginning with Elish Gardens. And whereas Mayor Pena launched and advanced the vision for Denver International Airport by securing $501 million in federal funding and $704 million in airport bonds, annexing 52 square miles from Adams County, completing the environmental impact study, acquiring acres of essential property, embracing the iconic terminal roof design, and initiating construction of an airport that today provides more than $47 billion in annual economic impact, employs over 40,000 people, and stands as Colorado's largest employer, all while envisioning the future development of the former Stapleton site. And whereas he issued the executive order establishing Denver's 1% for the Arts program, which later became law and championed creation of the Scientific and Cultural Facilities District, securing voter approval over the 6-county metro area and earning him the Rex Morgan Award for Lifetime Leadership in the Arts. Whereas he fought for the creation of the Lower Downtown Historic District, preserving 23 city blocks that became the vibrant neighborhood known today as LODO, for which he has been honored with a Keystone Award for Lifetime Achievement in Historic Preservation. And whereas Mayor Pena led the successful redevelopment of the Cherry Creek Shopping Mall, which set a national record for sales per square foot in its first year, and spearheaded a metropolitan effort to reduce Clean Air Act violations from 56 days to just 1. There are a few more whereases.
He was dancing his ass
We
off
had a
on
very,
Saturday,
consider
man.
all of you, amazing time. And whereas he elevated city planning with dozens of neighborhood plans, including the downtown area plan and the Central Platte Valley plan, and supported fundraising for the redevelopment of the Buell Theater. And whereas, after his historic service as Denver's first Latino mayor, Federico Pena went on to serve in President Bill Clinton's cabinet as the first Latino Secretary of Transportation, securing $126 million in 1996 for RTD's Southwest Light Rail line, and later Secretary of Energy, where he accelerated the cleanup of the Rocky Flats nuclear facility to safeguard future generations, and became the only Colorado citizen to lead 2 presidential cabinet positions.
Yep, he's the reason for that.
And whereas he continues to serve Denver and Colorado by co-chairing the campaign to build the Federico Pena Southwest Family Health Center in West Denver, chairing Governor Jared Polis's Emergency Council for Economic Stabilization and Growth during the COVID-19 pandemic, and serving as co-chair of Mayor Mike Johnson's Transition Committee, and serving as a member of the Vibrant Denver Bottom Committee. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the City and County of Denver. Section 1. The Denver City Council honors and recognizes Mayor Federico Pena and his administration for the visionary leadership, historic accomplishments, and enduring contributions to the City and County of Denver as dedicated and transformative public servants. Section 2. That the clerk and recorder of the City and County of Denver shall fix the seal of the City and County of Denver to this proclamation, and that a copy be transmitted to Mayor Federico Pena and to Cindy Pena.
Thank you, Councilmember Watson. Your motion to adopt.
Council President, I move that Proclamation 251242 be adopted.
It has been moved and seconded. Comments by members of council. Councilmember Watson.
Thank you so much, Council President. I am deeply moved and honored to sit here today with so many folks in the audience whom I love dearly and who I know love this city dearly. I am moved and honored to sit here in front of this great man, Mayor Federico Pena, his family, and Cindy Pena. I wrote some words so I don't screw this up. Mayor Pena, Cindy Pena, and amazing members of the Pena cabinet and administrative members. Our shared histories root us in the love of our Mile High City. I moved to what was Pena's Denver in 1987 from the United States Virgin Islands.
See, he's a tether.
Pena's Denver in 1987 was a city digging out of the real Great Recession.
Yeah, he was
debilitating inflation, high vacancies in the central business district, a housing crisis, and a growing unhoused population in Denver's own Skid Row behind Union Station, and the abandoned warehouses that we now call Lodo. Does this sound a little familiar to you?
There's people out there like that, so you can't go outside.
Mayor Federico Pena and his administration, it's all of you sitting here.
He's a child molester.
As I stated in the proclamation, didn't stop at imagining a great city. They took bold steps to create it. Those steps are instructive today because I don't know about you,
83.
but I need to root myself in what's possible.
In the 80s.
That is Mayor Pena's strength. He got us all to believe and then emboldened the city to make possible out of the impossible. The title of your autobiography, and I have it right here, it's one of my cherished books. Thank you, sir, for signing it, endorsing it for me. The title of your autobiography says it all. Not bad.
He glorifying a child molester's book.
For a South Texas boy. A story of perseverance.
Child molestation.
If you don't have a copy, I'm encouraging folks, please go out and buy one.
No.
You, Mayor Pena, figuratively and literally opened the doors to our city government, to a community that didn't see their faces, their families, or hear their stories, and the people who were previously elected to serve them. As I sit in the Parr Widener Library earlier today, named after Sandy Widener, the co-founder of Westward, and John Parr, both leaders that supported your administration and helped to elevate the ethos, imagine a great city. I couldn't help but think what an honor it is for tonight for us to provide to you the praise and respect
Most tethers are
you have
lost.
earned.
The Mac.
Thank you, Mayor Pena,
Fuck Penny.
Cindy Pena,
Yeah, he about to start crying.
and your team for all the
Van
ways
Jones on us.
that you helped to build the Mile High City. Let us learn and go forward
Fucking child molester, guys.
and do the good work that you've started. Thank you, Madam
Yeah, this
President.
is beyond sick.
Thank you. Councilmember Hines.
Thank you, Madam President. It isn't often we get one mayor into these chambers, but having multiple mayors in this chamber is very rare. So anyway, after hearing the powerful words of the proclamation, I too have words that I wrote down so I won't screw it up.
Cancun.
But after hearing the powerful words of the proclamation, I am struck again by how deeply Federico Peña's vision has shaped Denver as we know today. Mayor Peña, or Secretary Peña, I asked him one time, what should I call him? And he said, whatever makes you feel, whatever makes you feel right. I'm going to call him Perfect 10 Constituent Peña.
Yeah, he better never run for mayor.
He challenged us not
shit all
just
the
to
way down.
manage a city, but to imagine one. He believed in the power of bold ideas, that if we dared to think big,
I'll shut that
we could
down.
transform
Let's shut
Denver
the
into a
nemesis
place
down.
of beauty, opportunity,
Fuck this.
and inclusivity. And today, we live in that imagined city. You can see it in our neighborhoods, our cultural life, and in opportunities Denver now provides to people from every background.
Oh, no, not to
What
black
inspires
people,
me
not the
most about Mayor
foundation of Black
Peña
Americans.
is not just the projects he championed,
Exactly,
but the
Matt.
way he set a standard for thinking beyond the moment. He led with the future in mind, asking not only what does Denver need now,
Get this
but
man off the
what
stage.
will Denver need decades from now. That kind of vision is rare, and it reminds me every day to weigh my own decisions with the long horizon in mind. Because of his example, I try to ask myself, am I making choices that will serve Denver's future generations? And in the spirit of Federico's
Giving a
leadership,
proclamation to a
am I
child
building
molester.
on the foundation of a city imagined with courage and optimism? The proclamation honors his achievements, and rightly so, but it also reminds us of our responsibility, to carry forward his
Federico
spirit
Peña
of
was a
imagination
fucking
and
child
boldness.
molester.
Mayor Peña showed us
Yeah, cut
that
and
great
tease
cities
him
are
apart.
not accidents. They are created by
With an
leaders
underage
willing to
boy
dream big
giving him
and act with
fellatio.
courage. Today, Denver is living proof of that
Yep,
truth.
politics is
And for
beautiful,
that,
Matt.
I am profoundly grateful to Mayor Peña, not only for the city he helped shape, but for the inspiration he continues to give those of us who follow in his footsteps. I hope that when my time on council is done, I too will have helped others imagine a city and create a future, even a fraction
gotta go
as
upstairs real
impactful
quick.
as the
Let me
one
tell you about
Mayor Peña has given Denver and far beyond. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Torres.
Thank you, Madam President. So Denver, 1983. This council person was 6 years old. It was also the year we had the Great Thanksgiving Blizzard. Almost 24 inches of snow fell that holiday. And we all know, and those of you who have worked in the city, you survive or die by how you respond to blizzards. And I've seen it a couple times since then, but I remember that one. But you becoming mayor was also the first time my family saw somebody that they felt represented by, that they saw themselves in leading this city. And both of my grandparents were born here in Denver. Their families, though, came from New Mexico, northern and southern New Mexico, coming to be farm workers. And so every mayoral administration faces huge challenges, every single one. And it is how you see the opportunity every single day beyond yourself that I saw that you would do for this city, and that we're hopefully seeing things that you can be very proud of, that you laid the groundwork for. So thank you, Councilman Watson, for sponsoring today's proclamation. Really amazing to see this amazing group of folks come together to honor you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Councilmember Alvidrez. Thank you so much, Council President, and thank you, Councilman Watson, for bringing this proclamation. It's an honor to have you here, Mayor Peña. Such an inspiring story, and I wasn't born yet when you were elected, but my dad is a really big fan, and I grew up hearing stories of your time as mayor. As you know, my father is a Mexican immigrant who came to this country and to the city of Denver with a 6th grade education. And because of those innovative projects and the people of Denver, he was able to learn English at Emily Griffith. He was able to join the Carpenters Union, and he was able to make a career in construction. And those small business programs and the opportunities that you brought to make sure that everyone had a fair shot are the things that we're missing, that economic mobility for those young families that our young people don't feel today. They don't know if they can buy a home the way my dad did before he ever had a child. And I just want to express that all of those things are what gave my family a chance to build a life here and to escape poverty, and for someone like my father to be able to have a life. And that's so meaningful to me. And I want to see that availability as we close small businesses every day, as we struggle to make sure that our small businesses get a fair share of these bond projects and other projects. I want to live in your legacy and make sure that we are making sure that everyone has a chance to work for the city, that we're not losing people of color in the city, that we are using our small local businesses when we're giving out these big contracts, and that we're thinking about the economics long term, because I think about that's when you bring up those working class families that may not see a chance. And so I just want to say that I personally have benefited, even though I wasn't born yet, from all your time as mayor and those programs. And I think our community today is still benefiting from them. So thank you so much. It's an honor to have you here. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Council Pro Tem Monroe Campbell. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Councilman Watson, for bringing this proclamation forward, and truly an honor to be able to sit here today and to honor you. I think it's just tremendous. In so many ways, you've inspired, and you've always inspired. My parents, who, public school teachers, born and raised in Colorado, and when you ran, that was amazing. And it wasn't just inspired, but they were so incredibly proud, right? My sisters, they were so proud. I think about when you ran for mayor, and I've told you this before, my mom took me and my sisters, and I grew up in Southeast Denver, and multiple days we went out and we knocked doors for you in Southeast Denver, telling people how great you were and dropping leaflets and spending that time. And there was just such a belief of the vision that you were bringing forward. And that has really, stuck with me today as far as when I think about what it means. I mean, I sit here now and like the knocking doors, I understand it in a whole different way. But my dad was also a runner. He didn't knock doors, but he was a runner, and you were a runner. And it was so cool that you ran, and he would see you, and I would always go with him to different races. I mean, you had a marathon when you were married. This is just incredible if you think about it, in the training that's required to be able to do this. But in your personal time, again, I know my dad would go up, and you took the time to talk to people. And in your time, not only about things about the city, but about, when we were out on that, whatever, when that turn and I was tired, and, all of those things, you took the time to talk. My dad was so incredibly proud. He introduced me to you. And I remember being I was not 8, but I was a little bit older. But I mean, he took the time, and it was such a big deal to meet you and to shake your hand. You remember what famous people you've met. I got to meet you. And that's just an inspiring thing for me personally. I think of how much you've contributed to the city, how much of an imprint you've made on so many different aspects of who we are and what the city looks like today. I look around the chamber, and it just speaks to nobody does this alone. And how many people still believe in everything that you have done to lead us forward. You still lead us forward. And to sit here today, to be able to say this to you from this spot, it's on whose shoulders we stand. We often say, on whose shoulders we stand, and on your shoulders we stand. I stand. I know my sisters stand. My kids do. And it's just been something that I've always carried as far as just the vision that you continue to share. So just thank you so much for all you do. Thank you, Cindy, and thank you to your, and I just have to say for your family, I'm looking out and I'm seeing, I can tell, but to just say thank you to your family for how much and how generous you were with, your dad's time, and to be able to share him with the rest of the city. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilmember Cashman.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. Thank you all for being here. What a wonderful grouping. I need, unfortunately, to start with a complaint. Perhaps a little lighthearted, but a complaint nevertheless. Secretary Payne and Mr. Mayor, you should have the common decency to look your age. I sit here a full 7 months younger than you, bravely exposed to the elements, and you have the gall to sit there with that fine head of hair. I'd like to take you way back in the day. I was 36 years old with brown hair. Even then it was not a full head of hair, but it was brown. And I was a newly minted publisher of a local community newspaper. And as the 1983 election for mayor rolled around, I started hearing that slogan of Imagine a Great City and seeing the signs. And I had the chance to follow the candidate and the campaign. And a couple of, I remember for some reason, an event at the Washington Park Community Center, another one that for some reason sticks in my mind, another at the Phipps Tennis House in Belcaro. And what I remembered was the way people were immediately attracted to you. You struck a chord that was so important of hopefulness and possibilities. And as the months and years rolled on, I've covered all of the projects listed in the proclamation. And I thank you for them all. But again, mainly, I thank you for the inspiration and the hopefulness that Denver could be more, could be great. And I'm here tonight partially because of you, largely because of you. I've had the opportunity to tell you, you are one of my heroes. But as I look around this room, there are so many people that helped you in what you did, and that I know you would give ultimate kudos to as well. So I want you all know who you are and what you did and what your contributions were. Thank you for them. And thank you very much. So happy to be here with you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilmember Cashman. Councilmember Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. I have to confess, Mayor, that when I saw this on the agenda and not knowing of any particular date or anniversary, my first instinct was to check the obituaries. So I'm very relieved that we're honoring you for no apparent reason other than your accomplishments here in making this city the city that it is. Although when I look out at some of the faces, I'm very scared for my own health. Some of them give me PTSD from having covered the campaign and the administration back in '83, and very contentious, as you well recall, coverage of that campaign. So I think all is forgiven and all is whatever. But you might remember this, Mayor, when
couple months after you took office in July of '83, I thought, it would be a good idea as the City Hall reporter for the Rocky to have a good open relationship. And I set up with your office, could we go to lunch? And so we set up a lunch appointment, and I told whoever set it up that I would like it not to be downtown, because there's no way I'm going to be sitting at a downtown restaurant with Mayor Pena and have any time to talk, because everybody would want to steal your time. So when we got in the vehicle, we went to, you may remember this, out on 8th in Colorado, we went to Winston Hill's barbecue pit. You remember? Okay. And we get in line, and it was Winston Hill was an offensive lineman for Joe Namath on the New York Jets, and when he retired after his Hall of Fame career, he came out here and opened a barbecue restaurant, fantastic barbecue. And so I said, well, I'm going to take Mayor Pena out to Winston Hills. No one will bother us out there. And we get in the line. It's like a buffet line. And at that time, he chose to tell me that he's a vegetarian. So my attempt at detente didn't start off very well. But I do want to say a few things. Thank you, first of all, for one of the first things I noticed when I came into office in Southwest Denver was the Southwest Family Health Center, which, to your surprise, had been arranged to be named in your honor. And I remember at the ribbon cutting, I noted that it's very nice that one of our greatest mayors was recognized finally with something that you don't get a speeding ticket on, right? Councilwoman Torres mentioned the Thanksgiving blizzard, and I always thought if there was one decision maybe you would do differently, it might be not sending the trash trucks out to smash down the Thanksgiving blizzard snow, because it iced up all the streets, right? You remember? Oh my God. In fact, I think Councilman Swam wanted to organize a recall. And that was shortly after the '87 re-election. And we sat in here till 2:30 in the morning. You'd think our meetings today last a long time. 2:30 in the morning, hearing from people who wanted to do a recall over some other blizzard. But on the most serious note, I have come to see your administration, your 8 years, as one of those change elections that cities, states, and nations have from generation to generation. And I would put you and your administration in the same category as that of Quig Newton, who I believe was Denver's first truly progressive mayor, and who literally flipped the script in Denver when he was able to defeat Ben Stapleton after his 5 terms. And he led some of the reforms that we take for granted today. And when I see the changes that occurred when you came into the 3rd floor here, and with a lot of the folks who are around here, when I see those changes and how they modernized this and brought us into the 20th century, by the 1980s, we finally entered the 20th century. The guys with the rumpled suits and the cigars were gone. And there was a new crew took over, and a lot of them, how did you all get so old, by the way? Yeah. I see some of the finest people that I ever had the honor to cover and write about all throughout the 80s up until you stepped down voluntarily and said, I'm not going to run for a 3rd term. And I think it wasn't just you, Federico. It was your supporting cast. Some of the finest public servants that it was my honor to come to know. And so thank you for your service to this city. And your administration is responsible for so much that we just take for granted today. And we owe it to not just you, but to many of the folks sitting here and some of the folks who are no longer with us who would otherwise be sitting here. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Mayor, thank you. My story with you goes way back. You lived in Northwest Denver, knew my mom, Mary Helen, and my dad, Paul. I think from Guadalupe Church was where they had met. And I remember working at La Casita with my dad. And my dad telling me one time where he met Federico. And I said, oh, what happened? And then my father was a state senator who was working on the 1975 Bilingual Bicultural Act. And he found you as a young lawyer
I'm back,
and he got you to testify at the Capitol along with another person named Ken Salazar, who was a lawyer at that time. And the two of you, he got together, he went around the state and worked on the 1975 Bilingual Bicultural Act, bringing bilingual bicultural education to Colorado. And he was so inspired by you and said this young attorney was going to change things and had come from a place of poverty similar to my dad, had fought and had first graduate and gone to college similar to my dad's story. And I see I've reminded you a lot of my dad. And so I've always just appreciated the work that you do. A lot of the work during your administration, I get to represent the Central Platte Valley, which I never thought would be look different. I would go to Rock Island. I would go to yeah, we all know Rock Island. I would go to Paris on the Platte and smoke cloves, even though my parents did not think I was at Paris on the Platte. I was not supposed to be at Paris on the Platte, at the Platte River underneath bridges. And so I get the honor of representing those areas. And for me, someone who loves land use, when I was working for Councilwoman Montero, I did a project for her and did research on the Lodo Historic District. And I never knew until I started working for Councilwoman Montero that 80% of the people were opposed to you working on that historic district. And you did it anyway. And it revitalized that area of lower downtown, and it continues. And you worked with Dana Crawford and a lot of people who have, similar to my dad, have passed on. I also look under this crowd and say I could not be here without a lot of you all right here. A lot of you have mentored me through knowing Federico or knowing my father or knowing my mom. And so all of your legacy of working with a great mayor is also the legacy of why you see 6 Latinas on council for the first time ever, representing all of Denver. And just recently, I had the fun opportunity, lots of work, of working on the Vibrant bond with the mayor. He would call me and I would explain things in a different way, what we thought was going to be maybe 2 or 3 4 1-hour meetings. I see the Honorable Happy Haynes in the room as well. Turned out to be 10 or 12. I lost count. 5-hour meetings, 4-hour meetings, a couple hour meetings. And we were able to, in that deliberative process, we asked a lot of tough questions. And we kept coming back to one theory, is what does Denver want to look like in a couple of years? And what would this bond do for Denver? And what would that be our legacy? And so with that, as somebody who knew him and when I was 6, same as Councilwoman Torres, when I probably was knocking doors in the north side for him, to be now council president, still working alongside of him, his time dedicating and his expertise to the future of Denver, all these years, it's a testament to his character and his testament to his unwavering commitment to Denver. So thank you, Mayor, for just showing us all that there's life after the city. I keep telling everyone that there is life after the city, but most of all, just my sincere and deep gratitude for being there, talking to my dad, going into La Casita. I just have so many, all my family has so many memories of you. Your name has been a staple in our household for most of my life. So thank you, and thank you to his family for sharing him. It's not easy. My kids have to share me and I had to share my dad. And it's a sacrifice. It really is, because sometimes you take these jobs home and you don't know how to unwind, and your mind just keeps going and going and going. And it's sometimes our kids, I'm sure the Mayor Johnston, you can experience that with your kids and your wife and all of these electeds who ever had these jobs where you just take them home with you, and it's exhausting. And you take it out on your family because you might be withdrawn. You take it out with your family because you might be overworked and you're tired. And it's our families that pick us up when our spirits feel really low. And so just for all of you who've worked in the city, thank you for lifting us up right now, because you all know we're going through a tremendous time right now. And so we all really need to come together and talk about the abundance that Denver has, because we are abundant. We have smart people working in the city. We have smart people in the city, and we have people who are deeply committed to the city. So let's talk about the abundance that is within the city. That's my call of action for this proclamation tonight, and for all of you as we go through the next couple months as approving this budget. So thank you, Councilmember Watson. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Councilmembers Sawyer,
The fucking Cholo.
Albitres,
Aye.
Flynn,
Aye.
Hines,
Aye.
Cashman,
Aye.
Lewis,
Aye.
Parity,
Aye.
Romero Campbell,
Aye.
Torres,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
Madam President Sandoval,
Aye.
Dude, it's John
Madam Secretary, close
Tears.
the voting and announce the results.
11 ayes.
11 ayes.
Why is
Proclamation
Watson crying?
1242
Soon
has
as
been
you think the
adopted.
Latina girls will be crying. I'm playing together. Anyway, he's a child molester. This is a big platform behind the child molester. Lucky I wasn't good. Y'all was like child molester, cholo, pedophile. They would have had to support me and let me out. See, there's a reason why we didn't go.
Councilmember Watson, we now have time for the proclamation
Penfield's there.
acceptance. Who would you like to call up?
Yes, Madam President, the Honorable Mayor, Michael Johnston, Steve Kaplan, and then we'll finish with the Honorable Mayor, Federico Pena. So Mayor Johnston.
Johnston's is there? Oh, fuck no. Oh, now he want to make his appearance. No, fuck you, Johnston. Arrest your ass.
Thank you, Madam President.
Says
Thank
you
you,
was
members
down
of
to
the
get
council.
arrested
Thank
for
you, Councilman
illegals.
Watson, for
You need
bringing
to get
us.
arrested.
Felicidades,
We've been seeing this
amigo.
motherfucker in at least 2 years.
No one
Had
alive
no city council
has
meeting.
done more to shape the
And
face
it's the
of modern
first time
Denver than
I've ever
Federico
seen him
Pena.
at a city council meeting. Yeah, child molester.
Well, I say if you have ever taken your kids to see Santa Claus at the Cherry Creek Mall, you are living in Federico Pena's Denver. If
This
you ever gone to
motherfucker
see
is,
the Rockies play with your friends and family,
Former
you are living
mayor,
in Federico Pena's Denver.
Federico Pena.
If you've ever attended a convention at the convention center, you are living in Federico Pena's
And
Denver.
there's
If you've
our
ever
current
taken a
mayor,
flight
the rich
at the
white
Denver
boy
International
from
Airport,
Aspen.
you are living
Remember, that's
in
where COVID got
Federico
caught
Pena's
up at.
Denver. I think if you have ever gone for a drink on the patio at Union Station, you're living in Federico Pena's Denver. So
No,
many of the
I never
places
did
that we
that.
consider the greatest centers of joy
never
in this
felt
city are the
Comfortable
places
with
that you
safe
had
at Union
the
Station.
vision to dream and the courage to deliver. You dreamed big and you delivered big. And that has fundamentally changed the way this city feels
fucking
to everyone that gets the chance to live here. Federico and I were talking a couple days ago. I don't know if you know this story. I'm sure probably Tom Goujon does, but when Federico had decided to help redesign and renovate the Spear Boulevard viaduct to come back down into what was then, Madam President, your Central Platte Valley. The total assessed property value of the Central Platte Valley at that moment was $40,000. $40,000. Today is, I don't know, maybe $4 billion, I would imagine at this time.
That one, this is there, the one that
But
ran.
your vision to say this is not
she
just
looked like that runner.
a bridge to somewhere,
God.
it is a bridge to a new version of what the city can become. And the ability to invite people to dream that with you has transformed that and so many other parts of the city. I want to say one last thing, which is I do know many of the folks who serve with you, and I know how grateful you are to them. But everyone who is here who served in any way with Federico Pena, please stand for a moment. I want you to just see all the folks that are here. And would you remain standing, please? If you would, stay standing. Don't sit down yet. Don't sit down yet. I'm just going to say one last thing to all of you. If you would stay standing. This is to Federico, but it's really to all of you, which is there is a quote that I love, which is to live is to build a ship and a harbor at the same time.
and to finish the harbor
How about if the ship
long
got
after
hold
the
of
ship has gone down.
and you refuse to keep it
Every
from
single one
going
of the
down?
folks that worked with you and alongside you themselves built lives that were remarkable ships. They were incredible people and
cool,
accomplished
Penfield.
successes.
He got
They are
his-
people who fundamentally
his job
believed
with the
in
city
your
to
vision
live.
to say our deeper obligation here is to not just build one ship, but
You'll
to
see
build a
like
harbor.
2 black people. That's
Because
all
the
you're gonna
reality
see,
is, no
man.
matter how big or beautiful your ship is, there is going to come a time where the night gets dark and cold and the waves get high and the wind gets difficult and the lightning comes and every ship goes looking for a harbor. And what you wanted was the place that no matter how tall or small you were, how rich or poor you were, this city would be that harbor that could find you on your toughest day, patch you back up, and put you back out into the world. And you built the harbor that is now home to 720,000 people who have said, if I could pick any place in the world to choose to live, I would choose here. Because it is a place of joy, it's a place of belonging, it's a place of opportunity. That was your dream, and I think that is a dream delivered. Congratulations, Federico. We're so grateful.
Remember that song that he said? Look at the cones. The song, look at the cones.
All right, Steve Kaplan.
I know, Mac. I feel you. I can't take it no more either. They sitting up here celebrating a pedophile.
All right, that's perfect. And Steve, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm only going to say one thing besides thank you. It was always about
Look, he crying
not about
with
building.
his pedophile ass.
Okay.
Fuck you, Pena.
Don't do that.
You's a
I told you I was
goddamn
gonna do that.
pedophile. This mug right here was a former mayor of Denver in the 80s.
I need to have
Fucking
prepared remarks.
pedophile.
I can't tell each and every one of you how moved I am tonight. Hearing your personal stories, your reflections of me and my administration are
Fuck
just so
your
moving.
administration. How about that, Pena?
I wasn't prepared for this, to be honest.
Thank you for having something for us
I
kids
don't
to have
think I
something
recall
to
how
do.
proclamations are made before
Besides
city
that,
council.
fuck you.
But Councilman, you said this is going to be about a 5-minute thing.
Kids at the
Mayor
time
Johnson
to
took
have
us on to
something
5
to do.
meetings. I have Steve up here because a number of you have appropriately said that what we did was not done by one person. What we did was with a team of people. And so we thought it was appropriate to have at least one member of my administration be standing next to me. I had a lot of people to pick from. I really did. But
Yeah, you fucking
I picked you,
pedophile.
Steve, so you're
You
good.
had a lot of You had a lot of people to pick from. Yeah, you had a lot of children to pick from too.
Tonight is a wonderfully uplifting event and truly a
I'm
humble
lifting
one.
up a pedophile.
I can't thank enough the City Council, Mayor Johnston, all my family members who are here, some who've traveled long distances, friends, supporters, and of course, members of my team for the recognition that I will cherish forever. Thank you, Councilman Watson,
Fuck that tether.
who months ago
Picking up the tether.
came up with this idea of this proclamation without telling me.
Oh,
And you collaborated with my wife, Cindy, to do all this. And finally, in the last
course,
several
the
weeks, I
tether
found
man
out
would
what you all were doing. But
come up with the
I can't thank
proclamation
you
for a
enough
pedophile.
for doing this and your remarks and your remembering that what was done years ago can still apply today. So thank you for that. I was blessed with an extraordinary team.
Fuck you and your team.
Some of you have mentioned that. They were and are passionate,
They
energetic,
were and are still
committed.
a bunch of raccoons.
We all love Denver, and
Apples and
together
coconuts.
we embrace the dream of a great city.
They face momentous challenges with grace and courageous dedication to focus on that dream, never losing sight of it.
So 5 years before
Many of them are here tonight.
came, 5 years before I
I want
was
to thank
born,
them for being here.
I was 4 when
So
he
tonight
left
I
office.
accept this wonderful proclamation on their behalf. And I thank them for their commitment and their many, many sacrifices that they made to make Denver the place that it is today.
Yeah, they planned this shit out since
Mr.
this
Mayor,
administration.
members of council,
They did do that.
every administration has its dreams.
Pedophile, though.
Every administration has its priorities. Every administration faces
Look at Happy Haynes,
challenges,
seeing
many
her
of them
grades now.
unexpected. And we certainly had ours decades ago. 40 years, believe it or not.
Yeah, 40
After
years.
my first election, so much has changed, and yet in some ways, things
That's the
have not
last
changed.
time the Raiders won a Super Bowl.
Mr. Mayor,
When he became
council
mayor,
members,
that's the last
you
time the
will
Gators won a
always
Super
face
Bowl.
naysayers.
Fuck you.
People who say you cannot dream big, you cannot bring bold change, and you will also find people who not just say that,
And be a pedophile.
they will work actively against you to stop your vision, to stop your actions.
Whatever you pedo.
You know, some of you may remember that my team was called Freddie and the Dreamers.
Your team should have been
Remember that?
the pedo.
Named after the British group. I won't tell you who labeled us Freddie and the Dreamers. Because we had this vision of this airport to build in Kansas. In fact, the airport was called Federico's Folly. Because when Ben Stapleton decided to build his airport, Stapleton Airport, it was called Stapleton's Folly.
What?
Look at it today. Look at that airport today. As was said, $47 billion of economic impact every year. 40,000 people working there. It is the largest economic asset in the entire region, bar none. Freddie and the Dreamers.
So proud with your pedo self.
Great feats are usually accomplished during difficult times, not during easy times. So I want to encourage all of you to dream big, to unite the people of Denver, to bring this administration's vision to life. This is who we are today. We are a can-do city. With a can-do leadership that works every day to make Denver a better place. So my parting words, never, ever give up. Always continue to fight for the people of Denver.
Flip that in on my public hearing.
I hope that our administration's work can serve as some inspiration.
Pedophile, a proclamation.
If we did great things over 40 years ago,
Y'all should be ashamed of yourself.
all of you can do greater things today.
Yeah, and molest children at the same time.
Remember that. So let me close by thanking all of you for this proclamation, for your wonderful and uplifting words to me, my family, and to my team.
How about that?
And I want to thank you for your service, because these are indeed difficult times, and you are all up
This, you
to the
got a whole
task.
pedophile.
So may God
Former
bless
mayor
you.
of Denver. They giving a
May God
proclamation.
bless our state, and may God bless the United States of America.
No,
Thank
God
you.
don't bless
Thank you.
speak on this Peto's behalf.
Thank you all. We have one required public hearing tonight. As a reminder, council members need to turn on their video during the vote. For those participating in person, when called upon, please come to the podium. On the presentation monitor on the wall, you will see your time counting down. For those participating virtually, when called upon, please wait until our meeting host promotes you to speaker. When you are promoted, please accept the promotion, turn on your camera if you have one, and your microphone. All speakers should begin their remarks by telling the council their names and cities of residence, and if they feel comfortable doing so, their home addresses. If you have signed up to answer questions only, state your name and note that you are available for questions and council. Speakers will have 3 minutes. There is no yielding of time. If translation is needed, you will be given an additional 3 minutes of your time for comments to be interpreted. Speakers must stay on topic of the hearing and must direct their comments to council as a whole. Please refrain from profane or obscene speech and individual or personal attacks. Councilmember Pro Tem Romero Campbell, will you please put Council Bill 0994, changing the zoning classification for 3025 West 3rd Avenue in Barnum on the floor for final passage?
I move that Council Bill 250994 be placed upon final consideration and do pass.
It has been moved and seconded. The required public hearing for 0994 is open. May we please have the staff report?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, council members. Tough act to follow, but I'll do my best. My name is Fritz Clausen with Community Planning Development, here to present rezoning at 3025 West 3rd Avenue. I'll give it a minute if you don't mind.
Tim, is the microphone on? Okay.
Oh, there goes my audience. Oh, well. Okay, we'll go through the request, the location and context, the process, the review criteria, and finally staff's recommendation. The request is to rezone the property at 3025 West 3rd Avenue from the current ESUDX to ERX3 zoning. The property is 6,250 square feet. Currently contains single-family residence. As stated by the applicant, the intent is to provide for additional attainable housing units, including an income-restricted unit, in alignment with our adopted plan. Next, location and context. We're here in Council District 3, represented by Councilmember Jamie Torres, and in the Barnum Statistical Neighborhood. The current zoning, again, ESUDX, Urban Edge Single Unit DX. It's proximate to Urban Edge Mixed Use 3 stories area along Federal Boulevard, and sandwiched in between that and the open space A zoning of Barnum Park. Just want to note here that ERX3 means Urban Edge Residential Mixed Use 3 stories. It's a zone district that allows townhouse and shopfront building forms up to 3 stories. Current land use, as stated, single unit residential, adjacent to commercial retail development along Federal Boulevard, 2 unit residential immediately to the south, and otherwise a mix of park, open space, industrial, and vacant properties in the area. Existing context, the building form and scale. The picture on the left is the current single-family home at the corner of Grove and 3rd. On top there is the 2-unit residence immediately to the south, and the bottom right picture is the car lot immediately to the west along Federal. As part of this process, the applicant has concluded an affordable housing agreement with Host for 20% of the total dwelling units, which is anticipated to be 1 out of 5 townhome units, to be for sale, income restricted at 110% of area median income, built on site with a minimum of 3 bedrooms, and a 99-year covenant for that for sale residence. I do want to note that in case you have any questions about the affordable housing plan, my colleague John Colarelli from Host is here as well to answer any questions. Next, we'll check out the process. This rezoning process began with the informational notice on April 29th, followed by planning board hearing on June 18th, where the application was recommended for approval. The application appeared at the Land Use, Transportation, and Infrastructure Committee July 15th, and we're here tonight. City Council public hearing on August 25th. Excuse me. There are two registered neighborhood organizations in the area. The property sits in the area represented by the Community Coalition of Barnum. The Valverde Neighborhood Association is close by, immediately across Federal. We've not received any comments or letters from RNOs, and we have not received any comments or letters from members of the public today. Next, we'll look at the review criteria. Of course, there are three criteria for rezonings in the Denver Zoning Code. First, consistency with adopted plans. Second, public interest. And third, consistency with neighborhood context, zone district purpose, and intent. For consistency with adopted plans, we have Comprehensive Plan 2040, Blueprint Denver, and the West Area Plan. Starting with Comprehensive Plan 2040, this is a plan that lays out a number of goals and strategies for future development in Denver, including development of housing units close to transit, infill development where infrastructure and services are already in place, and encouraging mixed-use communities where residents can live, work, and play in their own neighborhoods. More specifically, Blueprint Denver categorizes the city by both future neighborhood context and future place type. In this case, the future neighborhood context for this property is urban edge. Urban edge, of course, contains elements of urban and suburban context, mainly 1 and 2 unit residential areas with small multi-unit residential and commercial areas embedded within those. More specifically, the future place type here is high medium residential, which is seen as a mix of mid-scale multi-unit residential options and some neighborhoods serving mixed use where appropriate, especially along arterial streets or at non-local street intersections. Buildings generally up to 5 stories in height. West 3rd and Grove Street are both locals, but we do have mixed use arterial and Federal Boulevard immediately to the west. I do also want to note proximity to what is projected to be a future BRT stop at 2nd and Federal. It's not within the, it's within the all other areas of the city growth strategy, which is still expected to see some growth, however more limited than the community centers and corridors. In the West Area Plan, the recommendation for place type is the same, high medium residential, again, combination of mid-scale multi-unit residential and neighborhood serving uses. Also want to note that this is located within 1/8 of a mile of a future high-capacity transit station. That's, again, that BRT stop projected to be at 2nd and Federal. Height recommendation specifically in the West Area Plan is up to 5 stories. There, of course, are several key priorities in the West Area Plan about preserving existing housing affordability and exploring strategies to make affordable housing available everywhere. Of course, one thing that's come out of that is a memo that re-emphasized the guidance in the plan that stating that, you know, until we have strategies, tools in place that can be put into use throughout the city, we need to make sure that individual rezonings in this area are meeting the plan guidance regarding affordable housing. In this case, as there is an agreed upon affordable housing plan here, we feel that it's consistent with those recommendations in the West Area Plan. Second, public interest. Seeing that this rezoning application is consistent with adopted plans and will also provide a badly needed for sale affordable housing unit in addition to other additional housing units in an area that has intense growth pressure, we see it as being in the public interest. And consistency with neighborhood context, zone district purpose, and intent. Of course, the proposed ERX3 zoning is consistent with the general character of the urban edge neighborhood context, being that same context. The general purpose of residential mixed-use zone districts are to promote safe, active, pedestrian scaled areas, but the areas that also provide a transition from more intensive growth into more settled residential neighborhoods. In this case, ERX3 should apply to residentially dominated areas served by local streets where building scale of 1 to 3 stories is desired. Okay, staff's recommendation.
Finding that all of the review criteria have been met, CPD staff recommends approval for rezoning application 2025-00022 at 3025 West 3rd Avenue. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We have 2 individuals signed up to speak this evening.
Recording in progress.
Good evening. My name is Jesse Donovan. My address is 3253 North Gaylord Street in Denver. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I don't have any presentation to give.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Jesse Paris virtually.
Yes, good evening, members of council. Those watching at home, those in the council chambers. I wish the audience was still present. My name is Jesse LaShawn Paris, and I'm representing for Black Star Action Movement for Self-Defense, Positive Action Committee for Social Change, as well as the Unity Party of Colorado, the Northeast Denver Residents Council, the Quebec Street Corridor Task Force, the Frontline Black News, the Revolutionary Agenda, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, and I reside at the Legacy Lofts. CCH owns Legacy Lofts, and Councilman Darrell Watson's district of the fine District 9. Did I just see this correctly? Y'all literally just gave a pedophile, a known pedophile, a proclamation. You should be ashamed of yourself. But I'm gonna remain on topic, but y'all should really be ashamed of yourselves. I had a few questions for hosts. If they could please answer those questions. How is this at all in any stretch of the imagination affordable? You said that this units for this rezoning are going to be restricted at 110% AMI and rapidly being gentrified part of town, like all areas of the city, including the east, but in this case, the west side is being rapidly gentrified. Y'all just gave a Latino pedophile proclamation.
Jesse, can you please speak to the rezoning? You have to stay on the topic of the rezoning, Jesse.
And you think that this is going to better the neighborhood? No, this is not affordable. I want to know exactly what the affordability breaks down to. So, host, if you could please answer that question, I would greatly appreciate it. Who is really going to benefit from this? Because based off 110% AMI, ain't no Latinos or Black folks or so-called people of color going to be able to afford to live in these units. So who is this being really built for? I know you're not supposed to or allowed to diverge the demographic information of the occupants and who is going to in the future reside at this site. And I already know that nothing that I'm going to tell you is going to change your mind on this. All I want to know is, been a community benefits agreement signed? Has there been actual neighborhood engagement, not just putting flyers on people's doors? Have the neighbors been thoroughly notified of this rezoning? And how is it going to better the neighborhood context of the neighborhood? If
that concludes our speakers' questions from members of council on council.
Federico Pena is a pedophile.
Recording in progress.
From host, let me ask you a couple questions about the housing agreement. And thank you, Anlaya, so much for being so active on this, because I know it was a bit of a different thing to have to adjust to some of the smaller developers coming to host to talk about housing agreements. And since the West Side memo came through and we started talking about what kinds of things might be palatable for housing agreements, 20% at 110% area median income, how does host arrive at that number and that AMI level?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is John Coldarelli. I'm with the Department of Housing Stability. The way that we come up with this number is based off of a couple of different factors, primarily that standard expanding housing affordability or mandatory affordable housing requirements would set a typical affordable housing agreement at 8% of units at 80% AMI or 12% of units at 90% AMI. Because the amount of units being provided so far exceeds 8% or 12% since we're going up to 20%, it's fair also to say that the AMI units should increase somewhat proportionally. We also looked at what is the market providing in Denver, where is there a need, and there really is a need for units at 110% AMI, particularly 3-bedroom units. We hardly have any income restricted 3-bedroom ownership units really across the city, but particularly in this area of Denver. And the maximum initial for sale price for these income restricted units, even at 110% AMI, is about $80,000 to $100,000 less than what the median for sale unit is being sold for in Denver right now.
Would that be different? And I assume it's in the agreement. These ones are stated for sale, but what if at the last minute he decides to put them up for rent?
The agreement says that this will be a for sale unit. I suppose we would have the ability to reopen negotiations if both parties were interested in doing that, but right now the agreement says it'll be a for sale unit.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. A question for Jesse. Come on up. I know you answered a few of these questions in committee, but can you just give us a sense of what you're planning to build?
So yeah, what we're planning to build is it would be 5 townhome units and a detached garage with 4 parking spaces. Even with parking restriction or parking minimums going away, we still feel that, especially in this area near Federal, you can't really sell something with street parking and no security. So we're planning to maintain that. Orientation is 2 of the units. It's all one building, but 2 of the units would face toward the park and 3 would face toward the south. And we plan to have it'd be a 2-story product with a maximum height of 27 feet, stay under the protected district height limitations. So it'd be basement, main level, and upper story, but above grade would be 2 stories.
Okay, thank you so much. And I remembered one more for Jonathan really quick. The home income limits, they kind of jump from 100% AMI to 115. Do you know off the top of your head how much 110% might be for 2 residents? Can I guess maybe 120,000?
For 2, I'm sorry, for the
two-person
AMI level
household, yeah.
I don't have it in front of me. It's all proportional though. It's a formula on an Excel sheet. So you take the 100% AMI and then you scale it up to 110% AMI.
So somewhere in between there.
Yeah, I can figure out and send it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for that. That would be great, especially if we get other agreements at levels that are in between. So that might be helpful to know. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Seeing no other members in the queue, the public hearing is closed. Comments by members of council on 0994. Councilwoman Torres.
Thank you so much, Madam President. So Jesse, I just want to thank you for really, I think, stepping up to the plate in what was a bit of a curveball, if I can keep using baseball analogies here. But it was a total curveball for you to get the memo. You had just purchased the property, you were planning to do the townhomes, and trying to figure out for this property and another one that you've got in West Denver, how you still make the project work. What I think has been really helpful for me to experience and watch with some owners interested in developing in West Denver is how interested are you in developing in West Denver, and whether or not we get really easy projects because we're an easy place to spout, or whether we get things that our residents are really interested in and in fact really need. One of the things that I want to share with council members is what we're looking at when we're looking at 110% area median income. This morning I had the opportunity to visit a construction site in my district and talk to folks about their wage protections, about minimum wage and wage theft, about unionizing, and just get to know kind of what's happening on the ground in my district. And I met a handful of folks and started to understand a little bit more about who they are and what their kind of footprint is in West Denver. And in fact, we met some construction workers. A husband and a wife actually are employed there. They work there, and they make a little over $25, $28 an hour. They would qualify for your income restricted units. These are folks who are likely renters right now, who never thought they would be able to be homeowners. And so when we think about who can actually afford 110% area median income, that couple can. That couple can afford this, and they could not afford it anywhere else in West Denver because of the price points. And so I just want to put a pin on this. A lot of the workers that we saw today were Latino, they were immigrant. And they're making a really decent wage in a job, and they need a housing opportunity. And so I just want to thank host, yes, I want to thank you and your team, the Barnum community and the Villa Park community where you're also building, because this is who I think about when I think about who this housing is for and why we have to be such sticklers to the criteria that we put in the West Area Plan. So thank you so much for that. I am supportive of the rezoning and encourage my colleagues to vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Torres. Madam Secretary, we'll call on Council Bill 0994. Council members Sawyer. Aye. Alvidrez. Aye. Flynn.
Aye.
Hines.
Aye.
Cashman. Lewis.
Aye.
Parity.
Aye.
Romero Campbell. Aye. Torres.
Aye.
Watson.
Aye.
Madam President Sandoval. Aye. Madam Secretary, close the voting and announce the results. 11 ayes. 11 ayes. Council Bill 0994 has passed. On Monday, December 8th, Council will hold a required public hearing on Council Bill 1137, approving an amended and restated 27th and Lambert Urban Renewal Development Plan. There being no further business before this body, this meeting is adjourned.
Watson, I have a question for you.